What's going on, guys? It's Felicia here from Valuable Referral, and all I do on this channel is refer value to the entrepreneur to help them win. Check this out. How many of you guys feel stuck? And I'm not talking about feeling stuck like, oh, I don't know personally what to do as far as in my career path or my entrepreneurship path, and going forward, I'm just lost. How many of you guys know what you have to do, but the distraction of your life is trying to help people that simply don't want it? And it's hard, especially when it's a loved one who's telling you that they want help and they're guilting you into leaving or to not paying attention to the stuff that they do, and you're trying to stick it out and you're trying to stay with that person and you're really trying to be there for that person, though when you are there for that person, you can't really stand them because they're not doing what their part, and all you're doing is sharing information, and they feel that you're just being a drill instructor and you're just being perfect and you just want things done right, and you're like, no, you don't get it. The solution I'm trying to actually share with you is something that you don't want to do, and I'm not seeing it because my love for you is greater than what I see in your own deception. Is greater than I'm believing the lie, is what I'm saying. I'm believing that you want change, but you really don't want change. And if that's you, I got a great video for you. I got some great knowledge to share with you. If you're new to this channel, if you find value in what I'm about to say, hit that like, hit that notification bell. Be in the know, on the know. So let's check out 5 types of people you can't help. I had a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, an ex at one point, and I was trying to work it out with that person as a friend, and I wasn't seeing, well, I started to change. Let me just back that up. I was the person that was always negative, the control freak, the immature person that always gets mad, had a lot of anger issues. I started getting better. My state started changing. I started hanging around people that actually really wanted something, because I used to say I wanted something, but I had to change me, and I really started wanting what it is. I started having visions and just ideas and dreams and hopes that I never had before, and I actually started developing myself. I didn't know who I was. I can't even really remember past me's, because it seemed like I was always following somebody I always thought was cool. Maybe a rapper, maybe a basketball player, maybe a movie star. So I never had my own identity until now. So I started changing. And when I started changing, I started just seeing the dysfunction, and I wanted to help out my friend. And I was attacked constantly, and it was a dreadful situation that I simply just had to let go. But I couldn't let it go so easily because my heart was still there. And the conversation always seemed to be one-sided, meaning that they would stay quiet and I would just tell them like how they need to improve and stuff like that, not realizing that it's just going in one ear, coming out the other. They would argue that it wasn't, but it's very, very true, because actionable wise, because I would point out the things that did change about that person because they wanted it to change. And I actually heard a sermon about people you simply can't help, and I was always, whether I was a negative person or not, somehow people just draw to me. They just want, I'm just a person of influence. I can't explain it to you. Some people have a gift of being a people person, or being a person that just seems like they have a spirit of influence, and that's just what I know. I fall into that category now, especially being a much better person than what I was years ago. So I wasn't seeing it, and I didn't want to leave that person where they were without actually explaining to them why I left. And even when I explained it to them, I just felt that I was still being sucked back in, my heart wise, because my heart was still there. But let me go over 5 types of people you simply can't help. And if you're an entrepreneur and this is somebody in your family, this may be a spouse, I'm not telling you to break up with them. That's something you're going to have to deal with, in the sense of just what it is you know about yourself and what you're learning about yourself to know that this is a relationship that's for you or not. But sometimes you just have to leave people alone. And I think sometimes when you leave people alone is more of a spiritual thing, because I think that whatever you're praying for now gets on them. Because whatever it is that you was trying to get them to see, life is going to get them to see. So you were trying to get them to see it by your words, but life now is going to take hold, bad or good, And they're going to start seeing what you was trying to tell them before life start kicking them in the ass. That's just what it is. So number one, you can't help people who don't think they need help. As a kid, we would run, play outside. Video games was popular too, don't get me wrong, with the Sega Genesis and Nintendo. Yeah, I know I'm dating myself, but I love being outside playing with my friends on the patio, running around the block. And it was one time I was at my aunt's house and I cut myself real deep. But the adrenaline, and I was just running. I didn't even know. And so somebody says, "You're bleeding." About 5, 6 years old. And when I looked down at my leg, I was profusely bleeding. I just immediately started crying. It didn't hurt, but it's just the fact that I seen it, like, oh, I had to see. I had to see the wound. I had to see the open cut. I had to see the blood coming out of my leg before I knew, oh my God, I have to get help. I could pass out because there was a lot of blood loss to get myself checked. So what I'm trying to say, in that time span, as I'm running around and laughing and joking, I don't even know I need help. And so somebody with a distinctive eye say, "Hey, come here. Look down. You need help." But you can't help people who don't believe they need it. Something has to happen. They have to see it. They have to know, oh crap, all this time I've been doing this. All this time I've been with this person. All this time I've been hanging around with this crowd. I've been with this job. All this time I've been doing this. And this person's been telling me to get help or get treatment. I didn't see it first. Now I see it and I need help. But you can't help people who simply don't think they need it. Number two, you can't help people who simply don't want it from you. That's one of the issues I personally had when I was actually trying to tell my friend a lot of things that was going on, a lot of dysfunctions that I know that the individual can take hold of and change. Because a lot of things we try to change, but we got to realize that we can't change people. They really have to want to change. That's one of the things I kind of disagree with Tony Robbins. You have to want to change because we all have free will, which comes from God. I personally believe it comes from God. And that free will is so strong that there's really nothing you can do. You can show somebody, oh, I did this, I'm now here, I'm now there, I'm now rich now. I used to be broke, but now I'm rich. And that person could want to change to where they change their mindset and do exactly what it is you did to get to where you are. But you can't change people. Because look at people chasing money. And if that's all it took, then everybody would have it. But there's some hardships you got to go through. And a lot of times people like me who are called fixers in the sense of just people of influencers, we have to accept the fact that there's some people that just simply don't want it from us. Maybe they know us too long. Maybe they see us in a certain light and they don't see us yet as the person that can actually help them in a certain area. Because every time they see you, even though they know you're doing better, you're not where you used to be, you still remind them of that old kid on the block. As a correction officer, that's the actual stain of an inmate trying to apologize to a family member that they wronged. There was one guy, his name was Lugo, and he made it out of prison, been in prison since 1994, and he was trying to find peace within himself. And the bad thing about the justice system, in a sense, I understand why they do it, but I don't understand also why they refuse it. When an inmate who done a crime when they were younger reach out now as an older adult that might have children of their own as well now and try to apologize for the state of mind that they were in when they hurt that family, they can't find forgiveness from that family, even though they know that they can't do anything to bring the death of somebody that they killed back. But it's the stain of unforgiveness that's there, because that family member always sees them as that particular person that did them wrong, that hurt them, or may have took somebody away from them, and they don't see them any differently. Though they are a much more mature and an older person, they still see them as that high kid that was after money, that was in a gang, and they took that loved one away or hurt them or harmed them, they can't see them in any way. That's number 2. Some people just simply don't want it from you. Number 3, you can't help people that simply don't want it yet. Some people actually see it. Some people are like, well, yeah, I know I got an issue, but I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop yet. How many people told, somebody say, yo, listen, I wanted to go to church. Yeah, I know church is a good place. I got to be ready for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not ready yet. I got to get myself together first before I step into church, not realizing that everybody in church needs something from God, and everybody in church needs something from Jesus. You know what I mean? Like, there's no perfect person in church, but that's the perception of how they think. I want help. I just don't want it yet. I'm having too much fun. Yeah, I need to settle down. I need to stop chasing women and, having all these babies around the world and, and paying, because my pockets is getting slim. But, I love the fact that I just have this addiction to women. I just can't stop. So I know I need help, and I know I got to stop because it's just getting me more in the hole and, more broken. I just can't get up, and I can't even do for my kids because I don't even have the money to go see them. And I know I need help, but not yet. Number 4, you can't help people that simply don't do what they got to do to get it. Here's the part of me that would have to release the control freak out of myself, meaning that I had to stop taking over. Like you see somebody struggling and you're like, no, get out the way, let me do it. And you do it for them and you're like, see, that's how it should be done. And they sit back, they're like, yeah, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, I appreciate that. And then later on, they'll always see you as the fixer. And then when you say, no, I have to stop fixing things for you because I need you to see. I need you to figure it out. Because you're exhausting energy out of me that I need to occupy, I need to use elsewhere. And I have to know that if you're using me in that sense, or if you really want help. And once I actually stop controlling and trying to be into the control freak of friends and family that I love to death, I had to see now. I had to sit back and I had to see who really wanted help, who really wanted to be helped. Because I actually brought people out to conferences, I let them see and hear speakers, introduced them to crowds that we didn't never normally hear about. The only time we see people speaking is if they're on a pulpit or something. But these are different type of people telling us what we got to do to get better, relating to the people, being more relatable. And no matter how many times I brought someone there with me, how many times they actually seen that this is a better way to do things, a better way to live, a better quality of living in the misery of life that we're in, they simply would not take my advice. Because the reality of it, though they seen it, though they knew me, they wanted me to do it. And then when you stay away from a person so long and you stop doing something for them, you realize they could do it for themselves. What's the bad part about staying away is if you see that they can do it for themselves, but yet they still have this attitude like, well, it wouldn't take so long if you did it for me. Those are the type of people you can't help, because if they still are upset after they did it themselves, that you didn't do it, you know where you stand. You know where you stand when it comes to how they see you, what they want from you. And it's abuse. It's abuse to actually have one person who is fully capable of doing what it is you do for them, for themselves, and then they actually go out because they see you stop doing it for them and they do it and they still mad at you. Those type of people you can't help. Don't waste your time. Number 5, you can't help people that simply are just completely ignoring you, just not taking your advice. And that could come with a slew of reasons. That could come with reasons that they don't want you because they know that you love them, and they know that you are emotionally tied to them, and that you're still hanging in there because of love. Honest love, pure love, not love with motives behind it, but you really love them, and they know that you're there. And as long as they show you that they aren't changing, they can count on you to still be there to help them change. And they don't know that it's sucking the life out of you, or they just simply don't care. You can't help people that just simply just not listening, not doing it. And I hope that helps somebody. I hope you find value. I hope that, if you know somebody, like, comment, share, subscribe. Because everything is just not a tactical video. Everything is not the how-tos. Some people really have issues within their life that they really need to get the kinks out. And I actually went through all of this for one reason. All the heartache, all the pain, all the people I had to get out of my life. And I just wanted to share it with somebody who will take what I say in value and apply it, because it works. And I do all these things because you're worth it. I'll see you in the next video.